Dogs die all the time bitten by snake or these type of animals. The female can get the complication from the heat like a polyneural.
You made a key point. Do not over supplement too much calcium before birth. It causes big issues. It make it hard for her to have the babies. Why use NUVET Plus? Strengthens the immune system, promotes healthy skin and coat, supports healthy eyes and ears, and safe for pets of all ages. Use my code for the discount.
Welcome to NWA Connie Corsos podcast, where we talk all things dogs.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Joe of NWA Connie Corsos. Here at this show, we talk absolutely about all things dogs, all breeds. We don't care. We talk to dog men and dog women all over the world, from protection dogs, from regular trainers, from nutrition to vets. I mean, la-di-da-di, everybody. Today, we have another guest making his second appearance. Our dear brother, Alex of Vaccaro Bull Presa. How's it going, sir?
Good, how you doing?
I am in it to win it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's been up with you?
Good. I got one female. She's about 10 months old right now, doing very well, very happy with her. Just been traveling with her, doing some hiking. So, just enjoying the summer. We had a really bad heat wave here, so was basically cooped up at home. Sometimes just you couldn't even go outside. Heat stroke is real for dogs and people, but especially for dogs. So we have to be very careful with the large breeds, as you know.
Yep, for sure. Hey, well, today we was gonna talk about the whelping process. I know everybody's gonna just like train and just like feeding. Everybody got their own way of doing things, but we're just gonna kind of talk about, ask you some things about how you do it and your experience and everything. So, let me ask you. So, first off, you got to make the decision. I mean, what are the first steps you're taking, in deciding when you're gonna breed a female? What age? What factors do you consider?
So general in our breed, we do third heat. It is a large breed dog. We do third heat. In general, usually the female will not go into the first heat until they are a little bit later on in life, which will be 8 to 10 months. So what happens is by the time you get to the third heat, your dog will be approaching the 2-year mark or just past the 2-year mark.
Mm-hmm.
So in general, it's third heat or 2 years. But if the third heat arrives at 22 months, 23, you are not going to maybe skip this heat. And the reason why is because we always have chance of something happening with the dog. Dog can get bloat. All dogs in places like Florida, they can get dogs die all the time bitten by snake or these type of animals. Okay, the female can get the complication from the heat like a polyneural or these type of things. So sometimes if we're close to the 2-year mark, like 23 months, 22 months, I would not wait for the fourth heat because something can always happen. And if think the female is good, then you don't want that problem.
Mhm.
Um, it's always good also to do the genetic testing. But with Embark, you can do at 8 weeks old. You just need the saliva. It's not going to change. Now, in regards to x-rays of hips and elbows, you can do preliminary, right? But you need a certain age in order to have the score, right? Not the preliminary title. So if that's your objective, then you might have to wait. Some people say that, post birth, the hip might be more loose, the score will be lower. I have not checked this with people who are with a veterinarian.
Mhm.
This is simply what I heard. But if you did preliminary, at let's say a year and a half, there's not much going to change.
Right.
In 4 months, if the dog made it to a year and a half and it's good on its preliminary, not much is going to change. So then you have to kind of weigh out the con versus the pro. The pro is if I go at 23 months old, I don't have to now worry, is the dog going to make it to the fourth heat? Maybe the dog, again, bloat or this or that,
Mhm.
or she won't take, or so on. Or do I want the non-preliminary X-ray of hip, the elbow? You know what I mean? Do I the actual certification? So this is something you have to decide. For me personally, like I will go with the third heat.
Mhm. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so let's say, okay, we've done our breeding. Uh, we might want to talk about some things to watch out for. They got that one. It's like a STD for dogs. What is it called? Brucellosis. You ever heard of that?
Yes. You can do testing for STDs. You can do thing for STDs. So in regards to now, I guess, so now right now we're going to be talking about the pre-pregnancy phase as we're getting the female pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I do things is that if I know I'm going to be breeding the female, as soon as she starts to swell and she's starting to show signs, I will put that female on puppy food,
Mm-hmm.
give her extra nutrition and prepare her. Um, Most people who breed large breed dogs believe that it should never be a large breed puppy food. It should be a medium. And the reason why is because people talk about phosphorus, people talk about calcium, people talk about these various things
Mm-hmm.
that in the large breed puppy food, they actually limit because we don't want too much growth too fast.
Right.
So, for example, companies like Royal Canin, they have breeder programs. You cannot buy these products at the pet store. Okay. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this,
Yep.
but for Royal Canin, they have HT42D, which is basically the product that you would give to your dog between the start of the heat and the 42nd day of the pregnancy
Okay.
for the gestation. And then they have a second product that is designed for the 42nd day and pass. Okay. And they have specialized ones for dogs. So here we have all these different bags. So we have 42nd day. And again, they're organized. You have small, medium, large, and giant starter. Okay, so starter one will be 42nd day into the feeding. Okay. And the one before that, which will be HT42, will be from day 0 before she even gets pregnant to the 42nd day. Okay. So this is normally what I've always done is I just used medium Royal Canin puppy.
Okay, got
I
you.
never have had problems.
Mhm.
Okay. Different people have different opinions. You know, we live in a very team oriented society. It's team raw or it's team origin, 40 something grams of 40 something percent protein. Uh, and then, Royal Canin, it has a byproduct. It's therefore we don't like it. I don't do teams. I do what is common sense, which in our society is not very common.
Yeah, yeah.
I have done I've done Royal Canin. I've never had a problem, but I've also fed my dogs raw. I've also used Origin, which my dogs do not do well on. It's like projectile diarrhea. The protein is too much. So I've used all kinds of products. I know many breeders who use raw, but when they need to go to kibble or when the female is pregnant and goes and they put it on kibble because they don't want to deal with possible parasite, the worm from the raw, they go to the Royal Canin.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, for large breed dogs, medium puppy, okay, or you can go the specialized route, which is that specific food designed for the first 42 days and then after.
Right, right.
The
Okay.
second thing I will say, sorry, I cut you off. I want to finish my thought. So the second thing for the mother, so she's just about to get pregnant. Okay. So we talked about age. We talked about STDs that you can test for.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about putting them on the puppy food, and there's also other supplements. And I think it's called Oxymom,
Gamma.
Mama Oxy Stud.
Yeah.
Um, I've never used them. I've heard of them. I do have a friend in the States who had problems getting her pregnant, and he used Oxymama. I just recommend that if you're going to add anything, make sure you look at the product and you look at the puppy food you're feeding and make sure there's not too much of something. Because it can hurt a pregnancy if you over supplement or if you under supplement.
Right.
Size dogs have different needs. So it's important you don't overdo because you can cause harm.
Right.
The next thing, so we talked about age, STD, and the next thing I would say is that as soon as the female, she's going to be going into the heat. So let's say I want to breed in December. I'm expecting the heat to come in December. What I will do is I will deworm in October. And if the product that you're using calls for deworming, let's say month, or whatever, do all of this before pregnancy or twice, depending on what products you're using. And then that's it. No chemicals, no vaccines, nothing goes into the mother. The mother is locked down to this world. She gets pooped. She does not get any vaccine and nothing goes into her the month she's going into heat.
That's right. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, that's the safest way. Yeah, and then you made a key point. Do not over supplement even too much calcium before birth. It cause big issues. It'll make it hard for her to have the babies and whatnot. So okay, so let's go here. This is something that a lot of new people going to miss. Once you do the breeding, whether it be AI live, what do you feel is best, a live coverage or AI? What's been your best as though?
So as we go into this, I will say that we are going to be focusing the show specifically on whelping. All I'm going to say is that make sure that if the stud is not yours, that make sure that when you purchase the stud, your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, because you don't want to have a situation where somebody says, "Oh yeah, well, that was the stud fee for the male to do his job, but you want me to sign that paperwork? Now it's going to be another 2 grand, because if they don't sign that paperwork, you're not going to have papers for the dog." And now,
Right.
we can do a separate show. That's all.
Wait, all right. About it.
We'll just stick to the whelping.
Okay.
Regards to getting the female pregnant. I do know someone in the States, their dog passed away. Their dog, this happened about 2 years ago, and I messaged the guy. I said, you know what happened? And he was mating the dog, and it was too hot. The dog had heat stroke. So when it comes to natural mating, sometimes it can happen very easily. I had one situation when it was okay. So we had the litter June. So it was probably like April. Yeah, April, May, June. So it was April. So here in Canada, it was still snowing. I remember a little bit of snow. It was that time. It's like, -5 +5 Celsius. Cold. No chances of heat stroke. I kid you not. It took about 2.5, 3 hours. She was ready. We did the testing, the progesterone. She was flagging. And then she started to play games. And man, she was covered in semen. Okay. Like he missed so many times, but eventually it got done and she got pregnant. But you have to make sure you're doing this in the right weather, because you can risk having a heat stroke. It's a lot of work for the male.
Yeah.
And especially if the female is playing that type of a game,
Yeah.
right? After natural breeding, it was like I turned my head, done,
Right. Right. Right.
in and done, in and done.
Yeah. But Alex, that goes back to what you said about supplements. The summertime too can lower the sperm count. Is that correct? You
I
know.
don't know about this, but it's possible because of the stress. But the problem is that this person doesn't live. The person I was thinking of, they don't live here. I think the guy lives in like Florida or one of those hot states.
Right.
So if some of those states, it's kind of like challenging because it's very often quite hot,
Right. Right. Right.
right? So there is the natural way. The other thing is, some females are just dominant. They're aggressive, even in heat. Even in heat. So side by side is always an option.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Side by side is always an option. So that's where they collect from the male and they'll put it into the female. Nobody's getting put under, nobody's getting cut open. And I've also have used frozen semen twice. The second time it worked, no problem. Had a litter of, it was 13, but one of them was put down immediately because there was a disformation.
Mm-hmm.
Just the puppy was born with the intestines on the outside, so they put it to sleep right away. And the first time I shipped frozen semen from Europe, and everything was fine when the semen get here. There was no problem. I'm in the vet's office. We did the reverse progesterone and so on. Everything is fine. And she's like, 98% of the semen was dead.
Wow.
I had 6 straws because the guy was a friend of mine. So he sent me like 6 straws and like use everything. And what happened? I don't know if they defrosted it wrong. I don't know what happened. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. So we talked about that. Now, one thing they should know too is you got to confirm the pregnancy at some point. after the breeding. Usually after the 30-day mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Believe from the top of my head is 35 days.
Right. Right. And at some point you're gonna have to bring her in and get her acclimated. What's your process on getting her acclimated to get ready to give birth?
Okay. So I'm assuming you're talking about like just getting her to know the whelping box and
Right. Yeah. Yes, sir.
yeah. So um in regards to the whelping box, so before we go there, because we start to speak about frozen semen, therefore we're talking about veterinarians.
Right.
Okay, let's just talk about the veterinarians for a sec. For this, how this podcast happened, for those of you who didn't watch the first ones, we started to talk about experience with anti-breeder veterinarians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so not every veterinarian is a repo vet. They're actually very hard to find. So we're talking about frozen semen and things like this. However, also not every veterinarian will know how to do C-sections, and some of them will not do it. Some of them are anti-breeder.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them will try to spay your dog.
Yes.
Which that was I think the incident with you. And so you gotta make sure you have the right veterinarian. With a dog like Presa or Corso, if you have working line dogs, you always have to be careful. Some veterinarians will make an exception and they'll let you be in the back with the female when she wakes up. Some don't. I had one situation, this happened, this was my first litter during COVID, like it's 2020. And I go to the emergency, and this is like 125, 130-pound female, not pregnant, was that weight. And they won't let me in. And they send out the vet tech, and this girl's like 5'3", and I give her the leash with the prong. She's like, no, we don't allow prong collars into our facility. She takes, the veterinarian leash. It's kind of like a British slit, but it's
Flip bleed. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
plasticky material. And I'm like, oh man, but what can I do?
Yeah.
Luckily, I started off with showline dogs. And even though they can be powerful, 130-pound muscly dog, they don't have that psychotic drive where they want to kill everything in sight.
Uh-huh.
So you got to make sure you have a good veterinarian in case the female needs help in regards to C-section and so on. Now, in regards to bringing the female, getting the female acclimatized, so first you have to build a whelping box. So the way I do it is very simple. I just go to my local store here, Home Depot. You can go any of these places. I grab a 2x10 or by 14. I cut it in half, two of them, 2x4x8 to 7 feet, and then there is your box and there is your border.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to the flooring, okay, the way I do it is either I have non-slip carpet
Mm-hmm.
in there, the non-slip carpet,
Yeah.
or for the first part of the litter, which would be like the first week, they're not moving around, they're not walking, they're not doing anything. Instead of the carpet, what I will do is I will lay out old duvet or old blanket flat and then put the box on it. There's no a floor yet. Okay. Or if there is a floor, the floor will be here, but the box is not actually attached to the floor. But what I now came up with an idea is I have the floor, right? Some people will use like rubber mats that we call them stall mats out in the country, but say I think it's a gym mat. Those ones are like 4x6. You make a floor out of that. And what I'll do is I'll have hinges, like a big, like not a door hinge, but like a bigger hinge
Right.
here, screwed in like this, and then I can lift up the box, go like this, and it's like opening a giant drawer basically.
Oh, okay.
And then what I do is I put the blanket and then I close it. And the reason why it's like that is because this way, if the female moves around, if the box is not secured to anything, she can move it. And if there's a puppy that's right on the edge, maybe their legs get a little bit trapped or something like this. Okay? So that's how I came up with the hinge idea. Now, the reason why I'm not doing the carpet, or the reason why I'm lifting this up and putting the blanket flat and then having this go on top of the blanket, this is the important part. If you just throw in something soft, some kind of duvet, what's going to happen is puppies are masters at tunneling.
Yeah.
They will turn around and start to do this, will go underneath, they will find a way, and they will suffocate.
They'll suffocate. Yes, sir.
You don't want that. So this way, if the box is over the duvet, you cannot possibly have that problem. And that's why on the beginning, the duvet is much better than the carpet, or thick blankets are much better than the carpet, is because for the first 3 days after the birth, there's all kinds of things coming out of the female.
Yes.
So what happens is that between day 4 to, let's say, day 10, if it's a good mother, you won't even find any excrement in the box.
Right.
Eat it.
Right.
She's gonna licking the puppies and she's gonna eat whatever comes out. You're not gonna have anything to clean. I'm not saying don't change it, don't change the carpet or whatever, but I'm saying that there's not gonna be really anything to eat.
She's going to do a lot of cleaning, and a lot of people, I don't get this part. They say, "What? The first 2 weeks is hard." To me, it's not, because she does everything.
If it's a mother, she does everything.
Yeah.
Talk about what happens when this is not happening. So now, but for the first 3 days are messy, man. There's all kinds of things coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be changing that stuff quite often. Now, as we talk about this, I have my list here. As we talk about this, I will say, make sure you have either a scent-free laundry detergent, or you're just using water. Imagine being a little puppy and then being bombed with this perfume of these modern day detergents, especially for a dog. Like, I can smell it, I'll get a headache. You know what I mean? Everything I wash is actually in scent-free detergent, and I recently by accident went to Home Depot, not Home Depot, Costco, forgot it, didn't pick up, and I somehow found somewhere from like years ago, I'm not gonna say the brand. Oh man, I washed my sheets in it. Dude, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh man, my head hurts. I'm like, what? Now, like, I'm completely deconditioned from it. So imagine what it's like for a dog. So
Right.
you wash it either just in water or wash it in scent-free. What you would basically be using for a newborn or a person with severe like scent sensitivity or allergies.
That's right. And sometimes when you guys running into some troubles with hair falling out or your puppies and things like that, it's because of the detergent. They're allergic to the detergent. Yeah. So
Imagine how much stress you're causing the puppy. So the next thing is in regards, I'm just gonna briefly take a look at the list. So we talked about the construction of the box, or the basic management of the box. It starts to bring the female into the box, acclimatizing. So it depends. If your dog is a kennel dog, it might be a little bit harder. For me, my dogs are I rotate my dogs, so my dogs are quite used to the house, and I'll just put the dog bed in there.
Mm.
I'll just go in there with her,
Right.
you know, and I'll just put her, you put her in the room there when the last 3 days come, but she's used to that room because she's been in there. The last 3 weeks, the last 2 weeks, I say she should be sleeping where she's gonna give birth.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
the next thing is, you're going to need, what else you're going to need? The basics are the red light that provides heat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have to be very careful with
Yeah, Lester. Very careful.
because the red light, if that female hits it with her head, that red light can break off. The red light can actually, even if a chicken hits it, the red light can break off. And actually, people have had chicken coop fires and house fires because of the red light.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Especially once you get to the point where you have shavings. Okay. So there's ways to deal with it. Number one, you have two types of red lights. You have the one that's like a giant bulb,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the one, it's about, I think, 50 watts less powerful, but it's much more solid. I'll buy that one. Also, the other thing is this. When you have this light, get yourself some chicken wire. This is the light. This is the structure. Put the chicken wire under and tie it with a metal tie. And now, even if she hits that light, okay, or if something happens and it falls, it's not falling onto the wood shavings or into the blanket.
Right.
It's you can have a house fire. Okay.
Yep.
In regards to the temperature, okay, understand. So if you want to put the whelping box in a regular house room, you know, um, in a regular house, most likely the red light will be sufficient. However, if you want to put the whelping box, let's say in the basement, so some people want to have the female give birth, and then after, 2 or 3 days, they want to move them to actual the area where she's gonna be with the puppies. Okay, so if you want to use, let's say, for example, basement, the basement floor is gonna be very cold.
Cool. Yeah.
The light is not going to be sufficient. You're going to need some kind of a structure that's going to have a heating from the bottom. Now, I tell people who they do this all the time, several liters per year. They have a permanent area for their whelping box. They actually have a small, let's say like an 8x8 area, and then you just put this heating, the you can buy it at Home Depot. You just unroll it, has wires. It's a heated floor,
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
and you just heat the floor.
Right.
I used somebody else. What they did is, instead of playing with the red light and so on, what they did is just they bought 4x8. So now you have two of them. You have an 8x8. They build it up 7 feet tall, and it's basically a little self-contained environment within your house. And now you have a heated floor in there. You don't need the chicken light. You don't need the chicken light. If you want to have some lighting, You can have a red light, like it's for like a reptile, but they're only 25 watts. They're not going to start a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have a little fan for air circulation, and you have a self-contained environment in there.
Right.
What is one other way to do it?
Yeah.
So we've covered the construction of the box.
Hey, Alex, let me lay something for you. Let me say something before you move to the next topic. Uh, they better know to watch too much heat too. But the puppy's usually gonna tell you when they're uncomfortable. If they crying, there's something wrong. Another way that I do it, I got a room dedicated for it. The whelp, what's the easiest thing for me, I got a mini split, like you want to know like the AC and heat system in the wall.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier for me because I can just control the whole room temperature. Yeah.
So if you have like you can just basically just control the room temperature.
Right.
The room becomes a self-contained unit.
Yeah, same thing like you do it. Yeah.
One is room, another one is just basically have the box where you're gonna have the heat on, and the another one is actually built a little room.
Yep.
You have like if you have this in the basement, just build yourself a little room.
That's right.
The next thing that you're going to need is you're going to need to measure all this. So I recommend you can get them, they're little square things. They show temperature and they show humidity. Okay. Now for me, I like to stay at 88 Fahrenheit first 3 days. I think some people say 90. I don't know. I just usually go with 88.
Right.
And the humidity, you want at about 65, 70.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those ones are very important. If you are, like for me, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. You can get these things from Amazon. You just point, it shoots like a laser to where you point.
Yeah.
It will tell you exactly the floor temperature.
Yep.
So both are very important because you need the floor temperature. That's like that sometimes it's good to have something heated. Now, if you have a really good mother, she will actually not want to leave the puppies for like the first 10 days. Like if she eats her placenta, she's not going anywhere for the first 3 days. Like I have to take them like, okay, we're going to go pee type of thing. So it's good. I like to make a big box, like a 6x6 or a 7x7. The reason why is because I actually will take a pillow and lay in there.
Right. Right.
And also because this way the female can just go onto the side. So you have a heated floor or you're keeping things at 88. It's nice that you have a cooling mat for the female.
Right.
Or if that red light is to the corner, okay? So I had the one where the way I did it is I had the red light and the heating in the corner, and I just had basically like a 2x6. I made an L, and they were actually in that box. And I would go in every 2 hours, lay her down, and put them on her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But she didn't do much. Like she did the feeding and everything. But with that female, I had to do a lot of other things, and we're going to get into that. Now, I had another female where she did everything. Okay. And basically, she would just move the puppies and then she would go lay down. She did it. And also the thing is like it's when they're without the mother, they need the light directly like where they are. The temperature is gonna be 88. But if you have a mother who wants to go to the cold area and they start to cry, you'll see they'll crawl or she'll take them and she'll put them on top of her. And that will be a lot of heat. They generate a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And they're together.
Right.
You don't want to turn around and overheat these things Okay. And you don't want the room to be too dry. So, like I said, 88, about 65, 75 humidity. And then every week you can start decreasing it.
Right. Right.
Uh, I am more and more believer of trying to let the nature take as much course as possible.
That's true. Yeah.
I remember, like in Poland, when my parents had the Great Dane. I remember the one litter. Like I was old enough to like specifically remember, and how I remember is that the female wouldn't let me into the shed.
Yeah.
Father's like, "Oh, I don't want to take you to the hospital. Get out of here." She was in the summertime on the straw. No light, no humidifier, no nothing. In the barn or in the shed on the straw. The night was cooling down. Sometimes the summer nights are cold. And you know what? If we go with the theory that a bad mother will die and not keep the litter, the puppies will die, or she doesn't have good contraction. A lot of large breed dogs, they need a C-section because they don't contract well, but they would die off. So that's also genetic.
Yeah.
This is a problem now because we are helping, but we're allowing by helping those genetics to continue to get passed on.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Good point.
You know, and I understand like everybody. This is an expensive adventure. This dog breeding. You know, not everybody is doing just for profit, but at the same time, you have to eat too,
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
or support the dogs. So it's not like I'm gonna be there. Okay, we see if this one makes it or not. But from a natural perspective, from a pure nature versus nurture, how many in the large breed dogs? It is quite common that females don't contract properly. But the thing is, how many of them don't contract properly? Whose mothers didn't contract properly?
Right.
Grandmothers didn't contract properly, but this is a side note, but it goes into you must be prepared to go to emergency veterinarian with your dog. I had a female second litter. I see red on the snow. I said, "Oh no, red, not good." We go to emergency, torn uterus. Right away, it cost me $5,500 emergency C-section. She was this close to getting a transfusion. Out of 12, 8 died, 4 survived.
Wow. Yeah.
We'll get into what you think you're gonna be making before anybody gets excited. We're gonna
Right.
pick the funny part in a minute. So yeah, we've covered in regards to construction of the box. We got the carpet lights. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Um. No, not on that. No, I think you covered it thoroughly, sir.
Okay. Um, I'll if you don't mind, I want to just talk about briefly about being prepared for the birth.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So, okay. So you've now built your box. 3 to 4 days before the birth, you want to put in your light. You want to put in your warm mist humidifier, not cold mist, warm mist humidifier. You want to adjust the room so you're sitting there at 88. You have that 65 to 70 uh, um, moisture by the box, not in the whole room. You don't want mold in your house, but by the box. Just like a baby, you would put a humidifier by the crib. Okay. You have everything set up. You have your emergency number for the 24-hour veterinarian clinic. You're board, you have everything. You got to make sure you're going to be home for 3 days, with the female, take time off of work. Now, what do you need to purchase before the birthing? Number one, you should always have backup formula. You should have puppy formula, because if the mother gets a C-section or something goes wrong, or she dies, God forbid, there's a puppy left over in her. We'll talk about doing a post birth X-ray, but something happens, and now you don't have any formula, and it's Sunday at 6 p.m. and now until Monday. What are you going to do? Always be prepared and have one or two formula, powdered formula. They don't eat much when they are just born, but you should have the formula. You should have open at least one box, pre-mix it, learn how it works. You have to boil the water. It's not just tap water. If you're like me, you would filter, because I don't even want fluoride near the puppies. Um, you know what I mean? You got to reduce it down to about 40 to 50 Celsius, and then mix the formula. A lot of people will say don't use a blender, because if you use a blender, it creates too many air bubbles. If you use a blender, leave it aside for about 10 minutes, and so on. The other thing you're going to need is you're going to need colostrum. Okay? Because if something happened with the mother and there is a problem, then you don't need a formula for the first 3 days, or for the first at least 24 hours. You're going to need colostrum. And again, so for example, like Royal Canin, they have a product here. It's called Protec, and it's a mixture of colostrum and the formula, the milk formula. Just go on regular formula. What I've done before is I just gone to the farmer feed store and I got gold colostrum.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will do that. So you can either go with them or you can go gold colostrum. I don't actually know what type of colostrum they have. It might be gold colostrum. These are just your options. So you should have the milk, you should have the colostrum, you should have slow acting and fast acting calcium, or at least Tums, at your house. You can again get supplement. These are the bare minimum. You can get supplements like there's Oxy Mama, but the one that gets them pregnant, and then there's the one for the whelping, Oxy whelping, something for there's a supplement for whelping. If you choose that. And then the other thing is bottles. If you need to bottle feed, okay, sit in a chair, you bottle feed like this. My first time I didn't know, and I used to sit at the table, and I would do a live on Instagram, and I was sitting like this. And then I had to spend quite a bit of money at the chiropractor, because after feeding every 2 hours for the first 7 days, being at the table like this, my thoracic spine went.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I was completely locked up. So I learned the hard way that there's a reason why women feed. They sit back on a rocking chair, not bent over like this. I had like back spasm, like my middle back. Oh man, it was crazy. But bottles, the other thing is this: don't be cheap with your bottles, because if you go to the dollar store and you get those bottles, they're very hard to control how much comes out. The moment the puppy takes too much, they'll cough. Milk will come through their nose. You're going to end up with pneumonia, or you're going to get up with infection here. And the only thing you're going to be spending money on now is antibiotics. And they're going to send you home with a big syringe. You're going to have to put the liquid into the puppy. you now risk bringing home disease, all kinds of problems. Don't get cheap bottles. The bottles I always prepare myself with is they're expensive. They're like $25 for 3. This is in Canadian money, so probably in US like 15. But they're for children, for babies. Newborns are colicky. And apparently the air suction on them is different. I don't know, but all I know is I've never had a problem with those bottles. I've used that somebody give me wrong advice. Why are you spending? Just go to the dollar. I just get them from the dollar store. I got them from the dollar store, man. The milk is coming out of
Too much. Yeah, too much. Yeah.
our. Now the other thing is this: in regards to the one thing is with the Royal Canin, if you buy the colostrum, it comes with a bottle, and the bottle, the way the bottle's design is that it has like a like a big circle, a medium circle, a small circle, and depending on how you have the bottle facing. So let's say that you have the bottle facing up with small circle, that would be for like a Chihuahua. So
Right.
for like a breed that's up to 30 pounds. The medium bottle, medium one, and then that controls the flow of the milk. So obviously a Presa Canario puppy, like how big are your puppies at birth?
Mine, probably most of them are, a big one would be a pound. But yeah.
So if we are breeding a Chihuahua, a standard size Chihuahua is what, maybe 10 pounds.
Right.
How Chihuahua puppy going to weigh? A quarter of a pound?
Oh yeah, it'd be like a little mouse. Yeah.
It's gonna be a little mouse.
Yeah.
Cannot expect to have the same milk flow for a 1 pound puppy than a half a pound puppy. And even if you are having your, 1 or 1.2 pound, I don't know, maybe you have Irish Wolfhound, or a Kangal or something like this, and you have these giant puppies. Well, maybe you have a runt. Maybe the runt is 0.8 pound. Then maybe you need medium level of milk coming out versus a larger amount. Also, always good little bit is the syringe. Sometimes you just want to give him a little drop at the top at a thing. Now, while we're talking about bottles, um, let's talk about latching. So this is hard to explain. The way I do it is I hold the puppy. Next time, if I have to bottle feed, I'm gonna make a video. You put the bottle in, and what you do is you slightly take the bottle away. And then what happens is, as you take the bottle away, the puppy will kind of chase it. And then it's crazy how much power they produce. Man, sometimes I feel it in my hand. This
Yeah.
like, woo, I'm like, whoa, it's latched on. And then you'll feel it. You gotta move it.
Right.
Move that bottle and make them like almost chase it a little bit, and then you'll feel them grab. Because if you don't get them to latch, the only thing that's going, and the same thing is if you're putting them on the mother. Sometimes I just I move it away, I gently move, and then you'll feel them latch on. Otherwise, if you have a weak puppy already and they are not latching on, what they're gonna do is you're just gonna make them even more exhausted. So then that's why when sometimes you have to use, if they're really weak or if you don't know what you're doing, you gotta use the syringe, the drop, and just drop by drop in their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have a litter and she's feeding and everything is okay and no puppy is fading, okay, all of this colostrum. Now colostrum is getting very popular. Even people who are sick, bodybuilders, people who work out a lot, they take colostrum because realize that this is very good. Give it to the mother. So let me talk about breastfeeding. Let me talk about the milk feeding for a little bit. So you got to make sure the mother has experience, because there's a difference between having a mother that's a really good mother, having a horrible mother. My second litter, she like was trying to kill the puppies. I did everything. First litter, I did everything. At least she didn't try to kill them. The second litter, she tried to kill them. So the mother care. If the female ate the placenta and stuff, do not be concerned if she doesn't eat for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Aside from the eating the placenta, she also ate the socks. She should eat everything. Help you. You're taking that away, you are crazy. Plus, the amount of nutrition that is in those things, nature put the nutrition in the placenta on part so the female can eat it so she doesn't have to leave the nest.
Thank you for saying that, Alex. That's very important because a lot of times right after they give birth, she's not going to eat. It's going to put you in a panic. But trust us, she get hungry. She going to eat.
Yes.
Just wait. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Even if I had to put something in there to help her start back eating, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But the placenta is very important. Let the female eat. And in regards to the formula, the cholesterol, if everything is okay, you didn't waste your money. Because you're going to mix that with some beautiful cold water and you're going to give that to your female. That's what I do. Because if it brings back a puppy that's spading, the colostrum is bringing back the puppy that's spading. Imagine what it's going to do for the mother. It's not going to do any damage. I'm not going to throw it out. I'm not going to leave it here for 6 months. I'm just going to give it to her. I mix it with water, and then that's it. In getting them to eat, like I said, they're going to be, for me, Royal Canin puppy food, medium. But what I'll do, there's a little trick, is I might mix something into that. I might mix something like a can of salmon or a little bit of cooked chicken and a tiny bit, and I mean a tiny bit because this is a dog, not a human, of a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. And the reason why is because it will make them drink. Now, in the first little while, she's producing so little milk. Maybe each puppy takes 50 drops. Okay? It's thick. Okay? So she doesn't need a huge amount of hydration to produce all this milk. What she actually needs is water to rehydrate from giving birth.
Yeah.
After, when the milk production is going up, that's when the water is even more important due to milk production. But on the beginning, it's actually due to exhaustion from giving birth. So that's a little trick that I would do if they are not drinking right away.
That's a smart one. Okay. Yeah. I like that. I'm going to have to put that in my toolbox.
Yeah, so that's basically the first 3 days. The only other thing that I can really cover here is just biological or cleanliness. So when you go to people's farms, you'll see, I forgot the proper word, bio something. It's basically, if you've been to another farm walking on cow shit there, don't come to my
Yeah, I'll bring, yeah.
with your bacteria on your shoes.
That's right. That's
You
right.
have to make sure that things are clean. Obviously, Provo is a concern and so on. So try to, keep things, try to change your footwear. Like, there's only so much you can do. But certainly, if you're going to come into the whelping area with your outside shoes while your other dogs were there that were just taken out for a walk in the woods, you're not decreasing your chances of
Yeah.
nothing going wrong. You're increasing them. So try to decrease.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you're going to cover this yet, but I wanted to input, make sure you weighing them every day. Crucial. You can't eye test it. You know what I mean?
Yes. So sorry. So in regards to equipment, The other thing, so one other thing, you're going to need a scale.
Yep.
Get a newborn scale.
That's right.
Be careful. Make sure you have a towel, or you just cut like an old yoga mat and just glue it on the scale, because the scale can actually injure them when it's slippery. If I tell you, when these things are 2 or 3 weeks old and they start moving around, you turn your head for a sec to ride the weight. Next thing you know, the puppy fell on the floor. So I never had that happen, but you got to be careful.
Yes, sir.
Scale. And like, the other thing you want to order is let me see if I have it somewhere here. You want to order, um, the different color band,
Yeah. Yeah.
like a Velcro, blue, black, yellow, green, whatever,
Right. Right.
around and tell you, um, it tell you what is happening. So like, for example, here I'm looking, and male number 4, purple, day 8, 2.2 pounds, AM, PM, 2.5 pounds, day 9, 2.5 pounds, and then by day 12, he was 2.14 pounds. So I weighed them every day until about the 3rd week.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like, and what we have here is this is actually from this part of the notebook is actually from my first litter. And
Oh, really?
a notebook,
Keep a notebook. Yeah.
right
Tell them, Alex.
down, make notes. Like, you're watching the show, make notes, because maybe you'll learn something that you don't know about.
Yeah.
Write
Yeah. Take note.
everything.
Because a lot of it too, Alex, is reminding yourself what to do.
Yeah.
Or hanging up charts on dosages of wormers and things like that. And one thing I want to show too is this. This is like on eBay, a whelping kit. And you remember your collars, your different color collars and stuff right there. You can get a lot of that stuff if like that too. So just yeah.
So, I will always recommend, this is kind of digressing from the subject. I always recommend to people, listen to these podcasts. If you're into this stuff, you should be listening. Like some people like football or UFC, you should be listening to at least 1 or 2 of these a week, because you learn different things. Different people do things differently.
Alex too, this is a problem that I get a call about a lot. It's like, my mom don't want to feed my dogs. She's not feeding them. And because a lot of times we forget about maintenance and the puppy's nails. They get too sharp, and mom be like, get away. And it's something you don't want to do.
Yes, so we must cut the puppy's nails, start, I would say, at 14 days. I would say 14 days. You might do it a little bit earlier. I'm just pulling this. I just look,
Right.
something like this. And let's go into our next topic, things that can kill the mother and kill the litter. So talk about 2 things. Number 1, mastitis.
Yep.
Am I pronouncing it correctly?
You are? Yes, sir.
Mastitis, okay? And the second thing that can kill the mother is leftover puppy inside of her.
Mm-hmm.
So, before the female gave birth, we should have talked about this. Before the female gave birth, we talked about ordering the equipment, the box, the formula, and so on. We forgot one thing. There's mixed opinions in regards to x-raying the bitch. And the reason why is because every time you take her, let's say the normal gestation period is 58 to 62 days. Let's say we're going to take her at 50 day, 50th day for the veterinarian to put her up on the x-ray. Well, A, she can pick something up at the vet. B, if she's unfriendly, there is situation where, there's another dog there, something is happening, maybe you have a problem, now she's moving around too much, something gets torn. X-ray is not 100% foolproof. It just doesn't mean that if there's 12 inside, they're going to be able to count 12 skeletons. Maybe your experience is different. We'll get you to weigh in, but there is no foolproof. It's 12 because that's what the X-ray says.
It's never correct.
Never going to always be like this.
No.
So some people, what they want to do is they want to X-ray before, and then when she's done, within like 24 hours, they're gonna talk about they want to go for the veterinarian to check, to do an X-ray.
Yeah, post birth. Yeah.
Post birth, to see if anything is stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or some people like to use oxytocin, but we'll talk about it in a second. Here's the thing. Again, there's a chance she's gonna bring back something to the puppies. The best thing to do is A, post-birth X-ray, or B, monitor the mother. You can take her temperature. You can monitor her. If you're not doing post-birth X-ray, okay, you monitor her. The moment you see something is wrong, you're going to the vet for a post-birth X-ray. The moment you see she has any type of temperature, And the reason why is because if your female has a puppy left inside of her, she will die.
Yep.
Okay? Now that puppy can be easily removed either through a C-section or through using oxytocin. Okay, and a lot of people will also give the female oxytocin to kind of clean her out, they say.
Yes, sir.
However, if you give the female oxytocin and she has a puppy in, so if you give a female oxytocin and the puppy is in a good position but it's dead, it will come out. If you give a female oxytocin and that puppy is breached, you're going to cause your female to hemorrhage, because the puppy is not like this. The puppy is like this. You give her oxytocin, but the puppy is not going to come out because it's oxytocin and breach do not mix.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's basically this fine line where, again, there's no right or wrong. You go to the vet for post-birth X-ray, there's chances you're going to bring home Provo. You don't monitor your female at home property, there's chances you're going to kill her. So either really monitor her, just as you're writing down the weight of the puppy, check her temperature, check everything. The moment you see something off, go right away. This isn't not, I will wait until tomorrow when my vet is open, I'll call them at 8:30. No, buddy, it's 3 a.m., something is wrong, you're going to emergency.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Emergency. You're going to spend triple the money.
Yeah.
You want a breeder? Welcome to breeding. Welcome to breeding.
Yes, sir, it is, yeah.
And then you get blamed for everything when something goes wrong.
Yeah. It's a lot of tragedies in this game. A lot of tragedies.
You got to have some kind of an attraction to drama. I'm going to tell you that now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Man, one day somebody commented on one of them videos. They said, look, I thought about breeding, but after watching this podcast, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. So what is your opinion about the post-birth X-ray or the use of oxytocin, or just monitoring the female?
So yeah, oxytocin. I know a lot of breeders that give maybe like 1 ml or so to see if she's cleaned out. I know they do it a lot of ways. Some people, one thing everybody needs to probably know is, in between her giving birth, what we normally do is take her out, kind of jog her around as like a natural oxytocin, in between in between each pup, bring her in, let her rest. I want her to have them about every hour, but sometimes they don't. But I advise everybody on your till you get a lot of experience is have that person or have somebody get on the phone with them. I get on the phone with a breeder. I have questions all the time. You run into all kind of stuff in this game, and somebody to walk you through. It might become a time where you might have to put your hand in there and bring a puppy out. You know what I mean? It's yeah, it's don't try to do it by yourself. Get on the phone. And I never had a breeder. If I use a stud from somebody that wasn't willing to get on the phone or didn't even they always would check on me. How did things go? You good? How many she have? Did you do this? Did you do that? That's usually the type of breeder I have always dealt with. If they can't do that, if they don't know how to walk you through that, it's not a breeder I'll deal with. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
For you, in your personal opinion, like for me, if the female goes more than 4 hours,
Right.
burps, I'm like, we're getting into the car and we're probably going to the vet.
That's a long time. Yeah, 4 hours. That's a long time.
Or
But yeah, yeah, that could be a sign that something's wrong. But I do notice they will take breaks. They might have 2 or 3. Another 2 hours. She's just sitting there, panting a little bit. Not in trouble. You got to monitor the dog. You got to know your dog.
yeah,
And later on, poo, 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 here goes some more. But I try to just keep her moving in between these things. And then you start to learn your dogs. Oh, she's just taking a break. She's finna come with some more.
Yeah.
And things like that. But you got to just be careful. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
all right. So we talked about the birth and the timing and so on. Next is mastitis.
Oh, yeah.
Mastitis, usually the danger of the mastitis is mostly in the last week of the feeding. So the way I do things is I pull the puppies off of the mother when at 21 days. We're done with the breast at 21 days. The most dangerous time for the mastitis in general is going to be the 3rd week, but it's maybe a 3rd week. So let's say day 14 to 21, but we can even say day 9, 10. Because the moment they start to have the nail and the teeth, that's when they're biting into the nipple, and that's when the mastitis can develop.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something you guys have to be careful with. Of course, there's nothing we can do about the dog developing teeth,
Right.
but we can do something about the nails.
Yeah.
And yeah, once you have mastitis, you can lose the mother, you can lose the whole litter,
Right.
put them on antibiotics. Then with certain antibiotics, they cannot drink from any of the tit. Now you're bottle feeding
Mm-hmm.
and mastitis once. Oh yeah, another thing is this. Sometimes it can simply just happen despite of the fact that you've done everything so it doesn't.
Right. Right.
So, you know, don't blame yourself for everything that happens. Just do everything right and accept the fact that even though you've done everything right, things can still happen.
Right. And what that looks like, guys, the mastitis, that's when her tit, it'll get sometimes it's red, it's hard, and it's hot. It can be hot to the touch. And if you squeeze that nipple, sometimes it'll like it'll like pus almost coming out. And that's how you know. So doing this whelping process, touch your female, check her tits. touch on her, make sure that she's expressing milk and things like that. You got to check on her, touch on her, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah, and it's like especially like all animals get it. Like in cat, that once that thing explodes, you're gonna end up with a huge hole. It's it's best thing to do is to avoid it.
Right. Yeah.
So okay, so we covered the first 3 days, the first 3 weeks. We're monitoring the puppy's weight, so on. Okay, so I guess now we'll move on to the next phase.
Let's do it.
So now the puppies. Oh yes, we forgot one other thing.
Let's get.
Male. So some mothers are horrible, some mothers are in the middle, and some mothers are superstar. So I had one female, the one that ended up with mastitis. Actually, she produced milk like crazy. I thought she was gonna explode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but she didn't lick.
Oh, she didn't clean? Oh, wow.
Okay, so now watch this, guys. Okay, you're gonna take the puppy, you're gonna hold it like this, and you're gonna go to the belly, and you're gonna gently go like this. And when you go like this, you're gonna see the puppy's gonna pee. Okay. After this, you go to the ass, and right above the ass, you have to massage the puppy, and the puppy's gonna poo. The puppies cannot pee and poo on their own. And if you don't do this, and you have a mother who either is not licking, or a mother who's just has no interest, she does nothing, you will have a constipated puppy. They're going to be crying like crazy, and you can possibly even kill them.
Yeah. This is
So
right.
make sure you're doing the just gentle, very gentle, massage of the puppy's stomach and the area, because this is very important. And sometimes, like, I pick up all the puppies, even like now, my last litter, man, she was a superstar, man. Are the best I've ever had. Dog, man. She would line them up in a perfect line. I'm like watching this in them. It was unbelievable. They were just like perfectly lined up, perfectly cleaned. Everything was done. But even with them, I would touch them. I would just make sure everything is okay. But this is very important. And what happened is eventually they're gonna start walking. Now, at about the 14 to 21 day mark, the 12 to 21 day mark, the mother's gonna start leaving the box. The last week, she's like, I'll just go in to feed them and I'm leaving. She might not want to leave the room, but she'll leave the box.
That's right.
This is when you're gonna have to start really cleaning. Okay? You're probably changing whatever you have on the floor, 4 times a day. 6 a day. And this is when it's very important. Like when I see people having litters in those blue swimming pools from Home Depot, I'm like, oh my, I'm like, oh God. It's like getting kicked in the groin when I see that, because I'm just like picturing puppy trying to stand and going like this with its tiny little legs.
Mm-hmm.
Hip dysplasia starts in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's genetic, but it's also environmental. If you have your puppy pulling your children while they're on a snow sled when he's 6 months old, that's very much environmental.
Yeah, destroying the dog. Yeah.
Puppy on a slippery floor when this thing doesn't even have the strength to properly walk yet. What do you expect? So make sure whatever you have, I don't care if you're using the system I said on the beginning or if you later on progress to a carpet,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or if you have a heated floor and you have like the horse mats, how some people do it, make sure it's non-slippery. Now, the next thing is we're gonna talk about more flooring for the puppies. Some people use wood chips. This is when they're getting as they're getting older.
Mhm.
People use straw, and some people are just using the washable carpet. What do you use?
So we use a what they call a whelping blanket. Uh, it's similar to a moving blanket. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what we use. Yeah.
Okay. But what age?
We do it all the way up to I say about 3 weeks, and then um they're gonna be eating mush. So when they start eating mush, the cleanup finna get crazy. So I'm gonna start putting them in a if I could move them outside, I'll probably move them outside, depending on you know, if the flies are really bad or not like that. So I'm gonna move them somewhere where the cleanup is gonna be easier. Because when they start eating the dog food, boy, it's finna get terrible. Yeah, yeah. So
So at the 3 week mark, we're going to be looking at a possible change in the floor.
mhm,
Um, you can continue to use, old duvet blanket, whelping blanket. You can go into the carpet, or you can go to either straw or the wood chip. A lot of people use the wood chips.
mhm.
There's advantages and disadvantages of everything.
Yep.
One advantages of the wood chips is there's a little bit of dust. So sometimes you'll see that they will have gunk in your eyes.
Mhm.
Okay. I've never seen a puppy eat the wood chips.
Nah.
And
Only thing I'll see, like what you said about being a little gunk in the eyes, might cause a little bit of a runny nose on some of them, but it absorbs that pee really good.
yes,
Yeah.
the second option is good old fashioned straw.
Mhm.
You know, it's been used for hundreds of years.
Yes, it has. Yeah.
Good old fashioned straw. Now, let's as we're moving from the third to the 4th week, we covered the change of the floor. The temperature now, the general consensus is for every week. It's people say like 3 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. I would say that by the time we are hitting the 22nd day, the puppies should have gone from 88 to about basically like a 75. Up the warm room.
Right.
Or like I will keep my house at 70. They'll be at that point at about 75. But if you see the puppies sleeping all over the place, they're if you see them in a group like this, they're too cold. If you see them just comfortably moving around, maybe one will sleep on top of another. That one is a little bit colder. This one is off to the side. That one's hotter. Then you'll come back an hour later. The one that was hotter is sleeping with this one. The other one is off to the side. That's a good sign. That's a good temperature. If they're all in a group, like this, or they're all spread, that means they're all either hot or they're all either cold. That's not good. Um, at this point, let's talk about now going from the milk to the food. And let me tell you, this is the phase I hate. This phase. It is so messy. I hate this phase. So the way I do things is I will take, if I some of the colostrum and the formula left over, I'll use that. If not, then I'll just get formula. But what I will do is I will mix the formula, the water with kibble. It will be a puppy kibble, of course.
Mhm.
In the blender, I make the mush, as I call it. and then they're fed 4 times a day.
Right. Right.
That's the way I do it. And you have to, take your finger and show them. On the beginning, they might not like it. Too bad. They'll start eating when they get hungry. And it's going to be a mess. The one thing I will say is that those feeding, the feeding bowl, the one that's round, and in the middle it's like raised,
Got a hump in it. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
like a halo.
Yeah.
Those ones work because it prevent them from going into them.
Right. Yeah.
The worst thing is, man, like when I'll see people trying to feed them on like baking sheets and stuff like that. It's gonna be a disaster because they're gonna walk onto it.
Hump in it. Yeah.
The other thing I will tell you is this. You guys, when you start, when you blend that food, it's always nice to have a small litter, like 6, 7, 8. When you have 12, you gotta start splitting them because there's too many for tasks like this. What I do is, let's say the puppies are going to get all together. Say there's 6. Let's say all together I'm going to have 3 cups worth of this stuff. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna put 3 cups and give it to them. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take 1 cup, put it around, almost like smear it on the round ball, and then slowly take each puppy and introduce them. And what I want them to do is I want them to almost be licking the food off of the bowl. And the reason why is because if you have a surface that's covered in this like slime, basically, because it's a consistency is quite thick, like pudding,
Mm-hmm.
the puppy will lick. Okay? If you just dump 4 cups into the bowl, okay? The puppy is trying to eat. The other puppy comes, pushes their head goes like this, their whole nose goes into the food, the puppy goes, and then the food goes up the nose, and you can end up with a sinus infection.
Dang. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So don't do that. Put very little on the beginning, and then slowly go from there. The other thing is this. Hip dysplasia can start in the box. Food possession is very genetic. If dogs wouldn't be possessive over food, they wouldn't survive. So all animals are food possessive up to a certain point. However, when I see those videos of a litter of 12 getting food in a tiny little bowl, puppies fighting over the food, and people showing that on Instagram, it makes my blood boil. Puppies are not fire. These are fire. They're killing each other. They're not fire. Okay? They're 4 weeks old. They're fighting over the food because you gave them the food in a tiny little bowl, and there's many of them. And all thing is you're bringing out the genetics of food possessiveness, food aggression that every dog has. And now maybe that dog is going home where there is a small child. It's going to go up to the dog when it's eating. Don't do that. Have 2 or 3 eat from this bowl, from this bowl, from this bowl. Make sure there's plenty.
Yeah. Yeah. Spread them out. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. That is something to think about. I kind of monitor them closely. But like you, I like that 6 or 7 litter. I don't like those big litters, which I don't never normally have. Biggest litter I think I might have had was like 12 one time, but I really do prefer the 6 or 7. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, you spot on, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the big. So okay, so now we finished. So we now have the food aggression. We have the whelping. Now let's talk about deworming.
Mhm.
How so we deworm the mother. Now, when do you start deworming your puppies? I started the third week, second or third week. I start to get, there's a special, now 1 second, I'm going to say this is a special dewormer. It's not like the powerful one for adults,
Knee pro stuff.
the liquid one. It's a liquid, it's a white liquid dewormer. It looks like,
Safeguard.
I don't,
The goat dewormer.
the dewormer in the it's in the States is going to be maybe a different brand. I actually have some in my cabinet here. It's one you
Yeah,
put
white and yeah. I know what you're talking about. What is it? Is it Pancure? Is it?
it, um and it's point mil for every kilogram. So if the dog is 10 kilo, it will be 1 mil. So if the puppy, let's say at 3 weeks old, is going to be 11 pounds, you're gonna which would be what, 4 kilogram, it
Right.
4 mil, right? That's the one I use. But anyway, so we do bi-weekly, every second a week deworming, and I will
Yeah.
start that on day 14.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So you said you started at 3 weeks?
I start on day 14.
Day 14. Okay, okay, gotcha. And do it every 2 weeks. Yeah, man, I don't know why I can't remember the name of wormer. Because we start with one and then we start with another one. I can't, man, why am I not prepared for that? It's not Presa, is it? Yeah, but well, I'll put it in the notes, the worming and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah, we usually start ours at 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 weeks. No, no, no. Sorry. That's the shots. I'm thinking about the vaccination. I think my wife started at 4 weeks. I gotta ask her. Yeah, I can't remember right now. But the vaccinations we start at 6 weeks. What about you on the vaccination?
The vaccinations, um, the vac did you was it your podcast where you had that all natural veterinarian on, the one that wrote all the books?
Dr. Judy Morgan? Yeah, that was me.
Oh, I already am not pro vaccine, but after watching that,
Yeah.
and on top of that, there was a well-known trainer and German Shepherd breeder here in Ontario, and he was traveling to the States, and he did the rabies, which is the only vaccine required by law.
Yeah.
He did the rabies. Within, I think, 6 hours, he'd said the dog was at the back at the veterinarian. The dog faded, came back to half the dog he was, and I think he died a year later.
Right, right.
This is like a high quality German Shepherd. This guy competes in like IP. We used to be Schutzen, and then when IPO and
GP.
GP. Anyways, so the way I do things is I do base. And when I mean base, only base. Not because now they try to sell you everything.
Right.
Last time, man, if I would have bought everything, they would have gotten 9 different things.
Yeah.
9 different. I'm like, no, 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 no. I want
They 5-1.
Pro, this Emperor, Pro, Emperor, and the another 2. I'm like, now I'm base. And I don't. My puppy doesn't need 9. So I do base only, and I do 6 to 8 weeks the first shot. Like based on what she was saying, you want to wait as long as possible. The thing is that right now, it's impossible to split them
Right.
because base comes in one shot. So you can't just ask for Provo.
No.
You know, I've done as early as 6 weeks and I've done as late as 8. But yeah, I'm paranoid about Provo. So 6 to 8 weeks, but just my advice, you guys do what you want. My advice is ask for the base, come back, base, come back, base. And in by law in Ontario, the dog has to have the rabies shot at 12 weeks old.
Mhm.
Well, too bad. I'm not everybody to break the law. But with the one I keep, 6 to 8 weeks base, then let's say it would be 10 to 8, 8 to 10 base, and then 10 to 12 base, and then a while later, I do the rabies.
Right, right.
Rabies and base. That's just me. I'm breaking the law. Don't worry about me. Anybody is going to be concerned that instead of doing it on the 12-week mark, I did it at the 14 or 16-week mark.
Right, right.
Sorry, I think actually in Ontario the law is 4 months, 16 weeks. I'm not sure, but like I said, for me it's base, base, base. So let's say now the dog is 10 to 12 weeks old, and then 4 weeks later rabies. I don't think anybody's gonna, fine me because I'm a week or two or late.
Right.
I don't like to do it together.
Yeah, 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 something, yeah. It's all about preference, man. It's all about what's best for you. You're still doing it what you need to do anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you do a vaccine? So you start off at 6 weeks of age?
6, 8, yes, 6 and 8 weeks. I'm starting to hold my puppies a little bit longer, and so they're gonna have everything up to date. And most of the time they're just gonna have to do the last shots at 3 months and get the parvo shot, and they good, yeah. So yeah, and I order all my stuff from Revival. I give all my vaccinations. You know, they got these little sheets. You document everything you've done. Boop, 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 boop. Give it to the client. They give it to the vet. Now they can call me and see what we have gave them, and they off to the races, brother.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's the best way. That's the way to do it. I don't like to over vaccinate.
Hmm.
And you know, just take care of the dewormer. And that's the number one thing. Water, clean food, and deworm. Water, clean food, or clean, good food, and deworm. Because if the dog not dewormed, the parasite will eat everything.
That's right. Yeah. So when my goal is when I'm handing that puppy over to his new family, I've done my job.
Yeah.
And they take it to the vet and get that puppy inspected
Yeah.
to show that I've done my job. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it is, brother.
So yeah, so that's pretty much, after this, we would be getting into a conversation about like puppy contracts and stuff like that, that more has to do with the administrative side of things. And, the only other thing I will say here is that it would be good. Just remember, start off slow, maybe some music in the background.
Yes.
The time these things are 4 weeks old, it's like food is coming, noise, 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 food is coming, drill, food is coming, vacuum. Don't like solely in the other room, and then bring the food, bring the vacuum next feeding 2 feet closer. Eventually you have the vacuum, 5, 8 feet from the whelping box, you turn the vacuum on, they're all running out. So just light environmentals. Don't scare these things. Have some range, just noise,
TV, yeah, TV, radios, all that good stuff playing.
Great.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to add too before we get out of here is something that we do is we get some pine pellets and we put a tray in there with the puppies, and they got some stuff on Amazon called Go Here, and we try to encourage the puppies. It's almost like a litter box to use use this little litter box situation we done set up in a kennel for 'em. And I've had some good results out of that, because when a lot of people had called me back, say, is this dog already potty trained? Like, nah, he ain't potty trained, but we have been trying to teach him to go in specific areas, and hopefully they can keep that going, take him out to an area and try to condition him to keep going in the same area you want him to go in the yard. Pick him up in your hands, take him to the section of the yard you want him to use it, and encourage him, potty, 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 potty. That's kind of how we do it.
I didn't know about the product, but I'm gonna check it out. And aside from that, yeah, I can't really think of much more.
I think we got it, brother.
Yeah.
I'm sure they add something into it in the comments, but yeah, for the meat and potatoes, I think we did great.
Okay, you guys got a 3D, man.
Yeah.
So if you don't have somebody to take you under your wing, you're not gonna. It can be difficult. So you guys have a very good amount of information here. And when it comes to whelping, this is a good general the coverage of general points.
That's right. Where can they reach you at, brother?
Instagram, Vaccaro Bull Presa. Vaccaro, just hit me up on Instagram.
Okay. All right, man. Once again, it's been a great show. Glad you came back. Holler at me.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you for having me on. Hopefully we'll do one more in the far end of the year.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, so everybody go follow Vaccaro Bull Presa on Instagram. He's funny. I love his reaction videos. He does a lot of reaction videos. They are hilarious, but they are informal, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, go follow Vaccaro, tremendous breeder in Canada, right?
Yes, Canada, Ontario.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you much, Brother Alex. I appreciate you.
All right, we'll talk.
All right, we'll do it.